Right, welcome everyone. Today we are going to have an educative session where we are going to be discussing about the Erik Erikson's theory of psychosocial development. What prompted me to present this theory to you, ladies and gentlemen, is the fact that we are all seized with issues to do with drugs, drug addicts, people who fail to have meaningful life in their late adulthood. And some of it we could be blaming on those people to say they are failing to make it in life, and then we nail it on them that they are failing to make it. But however, through my study and through my research, and also using the theories that these guys like Erik Erikson have alluded to way back, I've realized that we also have missing links that we have in making sure that we develop very well from childhood time. So Erik Erikson theory is a way of introduction. His theory is a psychosocial developmental theory. It outlines 8 stages that span across the entire human lifespan. So if you look at the stages, each stage is characterized by a central conflict that serves as a turning point in development. What do I mean? I mean to say, in each stages we are discussing, you are going to realize that there is something that a child or an individual should achieve. If they fail to achieve in that particular stage, then they tend to compensate for that later in life. Okay, so the stages that we are going to look at, there are actually 8 of them, and I'll take on the way that the theory is supposed to be applied in life. So in my next slide, I'm going to look at the first stage, which is the trust versus mistrust. And this stage spans from 0 to 1 years. 0 to 1 year. So if you are a parent, look at yourself to say, I have a child in the house, and you look at them like in their early childhood, what is it that they want? They develop trust with you as a parent, and they develop trust with people that are close to them, and they can also develop mistrust. What do I mean? Take your child today, get them in a bus. If they are still very young, give them to the next person. Some of them, they can start crying. Not every child, or not so many children would say if they are given to a stranger, they just acclimatize with them, then start laughing at them. Some of them, they cry because they are used to their parents, right? So what is it that I want to emphasize on this stage? Caregivers. And I want to use the word caregiver because it's not only parents who look after these children. Some children, they can be very unfortunate not to have their parents during this stage. So the caregivers, they have to focus on providing consistent and reliable care to foster a sense of trust in the infants. Okay? So the application in parenting, what do we mean? 1, we have to provide consistent, reliable care to these infants to develop a sense of trust with us. So what is it that they have to gain from us? 1, if it is a month, should be breastfeeding, should be changing the diapers, should be doing all the things that this child is supposed to be having. So if this child does not get that during that particular time, you would realize that they develop mistrust to say, okay, I'm not getting all these things and I'm not getting anything. So later in life, you can find a person who is not even able to socialize with others because they cannot trust them at all, because they haven't gotten any love during the stage when they really wanted it. So in healthcare, it also applies. You have to ensure that these newborns, they receive their regular medical checkups and immunizations. For example, in Zimbabwe, we have got the vaccination program, the immunization programs, where these children are supposed to be taken from birth up until they reach 5 years. They are supposed to be getting these immunizations. So children who haven't received this, for example, I worked with someone long back who was in the medical field, and this person developed polio. And when they developed polio, they were now like, when I worked with them, the person was even older, and he was even referring back to the time when the mother didn't take for polio immunization, and later on he developed polio. So why am I mentioning this example? It is to say that if you fail to provide for these infants during this stage, the 0 to 1, they are going to blame you later in life of things that will be happening to them. Then you also have to foster a secure environment in pediatric settings, to say like, let's say in the hospitals, they have to be welcoming to these children. And when they are going there, us when we were growing up, when we were going to the clinics, you know, you would associate clinics as places where you'll be given injection, where there are people who will be wearing those caps, and you know, we could have that fear to go to the hospital. But if you look today, those people, they have developed now to say in pediatrics you can find people who are wearing good coats that are resonating with the children, and they are well natured for during that particular time. So ladies and gentlemen, it is very important to make sure that these children during this stage, during these infants 0 to 1 years, they have to get everything that they desire during the particular stage. Okay, then we have the second stage, which is the autonomy versus shame and doubt. This is called the early childhood stage, which is 1 to 3 years. So this stage, parents and educators, they take the leading role, because they are supposed to be encouraging these toddlers to perform tasks independently, such as dressing themselves, so as to promote a sense of autonomy. If you teach a child today, okay, now you are able to put on your trousers, you are putting them on very well, and you clap hands for them that they've done that, they develop autonomy in doing that. But if they go to school with a jacket which is turned upside down, they are going to this stage, they are going to crash, and they are going with a jacket which is turned upside down, their autonomy is driven away. So the parents, they have to encourage these toddlers to try new things and make simple choices to build independence, like the building blocks. If you don't have the money to buy the building blocks, some of us, we grew up when toys were being made from locally available material. That is very important. Not to have a mother who will just be on Netflix, or maybe a mother who is just leaving the child to be surviving on their own, maybe watching television and being mentored by cartoons. Okay? And you also have to avoid harsh criticism for failures. Instead, offer supportive guidance. I want to give a good example. There are children who pee in their bed, or there are children who this is the period when they are bedwetting, and every day in the morning you wake up on them and you beat them because they are peeing, and you are only worried because you are going to take the blankets, you know, for washing or putting them to dry, and then you start beating them for them to stop that. They are going to develop doubt. They are going to be shameful of themselves. So rather, I'll give an example of my mother. My mother, when she was taking care of our children, when we were taking them to them, like to say, okay, this is the time we want to visit them, she would actually pick the child while it's in their sleep, then put them on their potty, then they make their wee-wee there. After making the wee-wee, they take them back to bed, they sleep. In the morning, they'll praise them to say, oh, congratulations, today you didn't wet the bed, you didn't wee on yourself. And that, they developed autonomy, and later on, they were not even peeing on themselves. So it is very important that we take these stages carefully. 1 to 3 years, we have to know that these people are now becoming autonomous. So we need to nurture that autonomy to make sure that it's in the right direction, not to give harsh criticism to them if they fail to do something, right? Rather, we should offer them supportive guidance for them to be able to achieve the sense of autonomy. Then, in education, these children, they are supposed to be provided with opportunities for them to explore and interact with the environment, right? Use positive reinforcement to build confidence in their abilities. You would realize that these children now, it's a time when they are now learning to push 1, 2, 3. They are learning to write. They are learning even just to hold the pen, because 1, 2, 3 they are still very young. It's a time when you just push. Look at those toys that are age appropriate. Even the cartoons that they should be watching should be age appropriate, so that they become autonomous, right? Now, the third stage that we are going to be talking about is the initiative versus guilt stage. This is the preschool time, the 3 to 6 years. Some of them, like in the previous stage, could have been taken to those crèches or the daycare centers where they are kept, and then the parents, when they are coming back from work, they take them from there. Now we are now going to the initiative versus guilt. It looks like it sounds the same with the previous one, but if you look at the age now, it's 3 to 6. They are now preschool. They are now going to grade 0 if we are in Zimbabwe, right? So in this stage, they are now in a school setting. And this provides the opportunity for children to initiate activities and make choices, right? They are now making choices for themselves to say, I want to play with this one, and I want to play with this one, I want to resonate with this one, I want to resonate with this one. But now it's now up to the parents and those who are educating these children to make sure that they are pushed towards the rightful choice. Right? So, allow these children to initiate activities. Engage in imaginative play. Encourage curiosity and provide opportunities for these children to take the lead in activities. Right? Give them those activities. They do them. You put them away. Give them a particular time. Then put them away and allow them to make sure that the autonomy that they gained in the previous stage, they are now initiating. They are not going to be guilty to themselves that we didn't do this, right? Then in parenting, support their interests. Encourage them to ask questions. Avoid over-controlling behaviors. Let them make decisions and experience the consequences. Like to say, they will be wanting to do something. It doesn't mean that they are not going to do it. If you control them when you are not there, they are going to do it when you are not there. But if they do it when you are around, and they realize, no, it's wrong. When I do this, if I touch a cat, it is going to give me a scratch. They are not going to do it even if when you are not there, because they are associating with that. They are initiating something and they are doing it, and they are achieving the goal that they want. So it is very important as parents and as caregivers to make sure that children pass through this phase successfully, right? So in the next stage, we are going to talk about industry versus inferiority. This is the school age, 6 to 12 years, right? So schools, they help to develop these children to develop a sense of industry. They will be rewarding them effort and achievement, fostering a positive attitude towards learning and work, right? So as they are being provided with tasks, they are provided with these tasks in various ways. And there are projects that allow children to develop new skills, offer praise, recognition for effort and achievements that they'll be making, right? So in parenting, encourage participation in extracurricular activities and hobbies. Like if they want to go and play, make sure that they go and play, they go to the parks, they go everywhere where they can play with others, and then they are actually becoming industrious. That way, even if they go to work later in life, they are going to be industrious in their own way. They are able to say, even when they are approached with tasks even at work, they are going to take them. They are not going to be inferior to their subordinates. So you would find that some can be inferior because during this stage, 6 to 12, they were not given the time, they were not given the chance to experience that or to explore that. Hence, later in life, you realize they will be compensating, they will be just docile. Give them a task, ask them to do anything. They will say, no, we can't do it because, we don't think we can do it. Even to present myself, I'm not confident to do that. A lot of people that you see who are not confident when later in life, even if they're intelligent, it's because during the period of industry and inferiority, they didn't pass through that phase completely, and they were not supported. So it is very important, ladies and gentlemen, that children, they pass through that stage successfully. So it is important that you take note of these stages. This is why I made it in slides, that you can download the slides, check your child, where are they now. If they are 6 to 12, take them through that stage successfully, right? So the next stage is the identity versus role confusion. This is the most crucial one. The adolescence, 12 to 18 years. It depends where you are or where you've been schooled. You can take the stage. Adolescents, some they could be there maybe 11, but it's 12 to 18 years, right? So it's identity versus role confusion. So this period, they are now in secondary. So in education, they are supposed to be supported in exploring different identities and career paths, provided with resources and guidance for self-discovery and future planning. This is where we lost it out, most of us, because one, at home, you may be subjected to tasks that are not of your age or that are not appropriate to that particular time, or you are not even being supported to the things that you think you perform better. So it is important for these children to be supported in the subject area or in the area that they have developed interest. So what does this mean? They are going to identify themselves with success or with the things that they think they can do better. Someone cannot be very eloquent in public speaking, but they think that they can do better when you give them maybe practical subjects to do. You give them something to build, they do it very well. You give them something to write or to design, they design it very well. So they have to be nurtured in a way that will make them successful. So if they are not nurtured properly within that particular stage, you realize that later in life they are not able to identify with what they want. Try to tell them that do this business, they'll tell you businesses are not for us, they are for those people. This one is not for us. They always give excuses to things that they're supposed to be doing. Hence, there are those people who would say if someone is successful in another area, they'll say maybe akaromba or maybe this person has done this for them to be successful. No, it's because of the support that these children would have received during these stages. Then in parenting, you have to encourage open communication and support teenagers in expressing their individuality, right? If they are if it's a girl child during this stage, most of them, they are already in puberty. You have to support them. Things that they are thinking, they are different from the previous stage. Right now, they are now identifying themselves. They are identifying themselves as girls. They are identifying themselves as men. When they are now identifying themselves as girls, they are looking at their mother is giving birth. They are looking at their father is also looking after the family and doing other things that are even harder at the house, and they want to identify with that. If they don't, or they are not nurtured and they are not given the support during that time, they are not going to be autonomous. So you also have to respect their need for autonomy while providing appropriate boundaries. For example, they want to learn how to cook. Are you going to say don't cook because you are going to burn yourself, or you're going to be with them, leave them to cook, leave them to wash the plates, teach them how important it is for them to be washing plates if they are girls or even if they are boys. They have to do all these roles interchangeably. So in our society, you would find that there are jobs that have been designated for ladies, there are jobs that have been designated for men. But now what are we saying? We are saying everyone is equal. So if these children are subjected to all this and they are taught how to do it, you would find that they are not going to put their pens in the washing basket. They are not going to put their clothes in the washing basket for the rest of the week. They are going to wash all the small clothes that they have, especially the inner garments. They will do that. But you can find right now, I want you to think, I know you are listening to me. I want you to think of yourself. Are you leaving your undergarments in the washing basket for them to be washed by the next person, or you want to put them in the washing machine? If you are doing that, think way back. Did you actually succeed in identifying yourself during this stage, or you have role confusion? You are confused to say, is it me who is supposed to do it? And then there's another setting where you would find that the father will be abusive to say, no, myself, I don't cook, I don't do this, I don't do that. When the children are listening during this particular stage, they will actually identify themselves with that father who has been abusive to the mother or to the people that they've been living with during that particular time. Hence, it is very important to make sure that they identify themselves properly as people who are supposed to be responsible for themselves. Then, in counseling, there are some people who do counseling. Everyone is a counselor, especially when you are now an adult. You should help adolescents in particular to explore their values, beliefs, and goals. Leave them to explain or to tell you what they want. And then after doing that, you then nurture them to say, no, but if you do this, it can result in 1, 2, 3, 4. If you do this, it can result in 1, 2, 3, 4. If you want to drink alcohol, it can result in 1, 2, 3, 4. It is important not to do this because it can cause you to be an addict. It can cause you to fall into accidents or do other things that are out of this world. And then address the issues that are related to self-esteem and peer pressure. Peer pressure, ladies and gentlemen, is there and it's common. And it even happens when people are now adults. I will tell you, there are instances where you would find that people are now conflicting to say, if people move from Africa to diaspora, they tend to change. When they arrive in diaspora, their characters, they will be hiding those characters behind their back. And now, because they didn't identify themselves during this period and they are able to identify themselves now, they think that is now a safe haven, and they now follow the peers of their age to do things that are out of this world. So it is very important that you check whether this person did not pass through this stage properly. If they didn't, go back, ask them, what happened when you were 12 to 18? Can you remember? What happened when you were 18 to 40? Can you remember? Then if that person tells you this is what has been happening, try to take them back to that particular time and bring them back to the stage. That is called fixation. So a lot of people will fixate in life because they wouldn't have passed through those stages successfully. Okay? Then the next stage is now the intimacy versus isolation, which is called the young adulthood, 18 to 40. Intimacy versus isolation. Now this is the time when one is saying, I am an adult, I can think for myself. They are now starting relationships, and these relationships, some of them, they are now purposeful relationships, right? So in therapy, address the issues related to forming and maintaining intimate relationships. Who do you want to form a relationship with, and for what purpose? Support those people who will be coming to you. I've written there as clients in developing health communication and conflict resolution skills, because all these people who will be coming to ask for information from you, they happen to be your clients. So what is it that you need to do? Make sure that develop healthy communication and conflict resolution skills. So conflict resolution skills, they are a lot. It's actually a subject on its own that we can discuss, and I think we are going to discuss about it in my next videos. Conflict resolution, it's very important. How do you handle the conflict? So you have to make sure that the places where they are, especially universities, most of the children or most of the people, this is the category where they fall. I'm also in that category, the 18 to 40, intimacy versus isolation, young adulthood, 18 to 40. Universities, workplaces, these create environments that encourage formation of relationships, right? And these relationships, they are close relationships. It can be intimate relationship or it can be friendship that is coming. And it could be through social events, team building activities, and support groups. So when you are taking your child to university, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to say, no, you don't need to go there, you don't need to go there. Take them where it's happening, but give them information that these things could happen in these environments if you are going to university. So you need to avoid getting intimate at this particular stage, because it could result in sexual transmitted infections, unwanted pregnancies, abortions, and eventually death at some point, right? Then in the workplace, Foster a collaborative and inclusive work environment where you can say, guys, no, let's have a party, let's go out, let's go for hiking, and to provide opportunities for team building and social interactions. People, they should interact at work, people, they should interact, but you would find that when people are confined in their own space, they can be socially isolated. But what is causing them to be socially isolated is because in the previous stage, they did not pass it properly. So now they are now isolated, they are guilty of themselves to say, if I say something, am I going to say something that is meaningful when I'm in this environment, right? So here's the importance of passing every stage successfully, right? Then we now go to the 40 to 65 years, right? Life begins at 40. This is what they say. So this is generativity versus stagnation, that is middle adulthood, 40 to 65 years. So in career development, this is the time now when you are now thinking about your career to say, we now want to encourage other people, like opportunities for mentorship and leadership roles. Why should you be stagnant on one particular role that you have been having since the time when you have been employed in that particular organization? I am challenging you. I know you are listening to me, or you are reading what I have read on this, what I have written on these slides. What I'm saying is, take opportunities as they come. Even if you don't want to do, like for example, you have a diploma or you have a degree, but you don't want to do a master program. Why are you not just like saying, I want to do a certificate, push myself to the next stage, right? If you go there, you realize that opportunities will come. And leadership, it doesn't necessarily mean that everyone is going to be a manager, but leadership only means that you have the responsibility that you are putting on your head to say, okay, today you are going to be leading 1, 2, 3, 4. But in the previous stages, if you were not successful, you were not going to lead anyone, right? Then you're also supposed to support the mid-career employees in finding purpose through their work. I'll give you an example. The YouTubers. I'll give an example of these YouTubers that we have. They are there and they've been there. But now in Africa, it has been amplified because now the opportunity is there for one to become a YouTuber during this particular stage. I'll give you an example of Kundai. Chitima, I will always mention his name. He's the one who actually encouraged some of us even to be uploading this information that we'll be having. Because if you don't upload it, that history is not written, that history is not given to anyone. So he's supporting mid-career employees. He has got a group right now where he's mentoring people to say, no, for you to develop a good video, you have to do 1, 2, 3, 4. For you to develop a good story, you have to do 1, 2, 3, 4. He is doing it subconsciously. But if you look back to the stages of life that we have discussed about, he is someone who I purport to be having been successful, right? Because he is now in the stage where he is able to do that. Then in community involvement, you have to promote volunteerism and community service. People are picking papers. You don't want to be involved in that, huh? Be involved in the community activities that are happening in your surroundings, and also provide opportunities for adults to contribute to societal development, right? Look at people like, Ango Saint in Zimbabwe. Look at people like Shema in Zimbabwe. Those people, they are actually providing opportunities for adults to contribute to societal development. The society is developing because of them. Because they are going in, they are showcasing something. And after showcasing those things do develop. People develop in terms of careers, in terms of livelihoods. They're actually developing because of other people. So those people, they are not stagnant. Those people, they are actually generating something that is going to make sure that the community is benefiting, right? So employers in general do offer opportunities for middle-aged adults to mentor younger employees, engage in community service projects like I alluded to before, and pursue personal growth and to foster generativity. So that's the time now where you now say life is beginning. I'm starting to move. Let me shake myself, right? And then we move on to the last stage now, which is integrity versus despair. Other scholars would call it maturity. That's integrity versus despair. And this is 65 years plus. It's late adulthood, right? So communities can support the elderly by providing opportunities for reflection, sharing life stories, and participating in legacy building. Activities that will help them to achieve a sense of integrity, right? These people, they've been there in all these stages, nurturing other people, doing all the things that they were supposed to be doing. So now we now want them to reflect on life experiences and share their wisdom. But if in all these stages you have been conflicting, are you going to be a good Seguru? Are you going to be a good Mbuya? Are you going to be an elderly who is going to share wisdom because of what you have learned in the journey of life? That is a complete no. So when you didn't pass through the phases correctly, or if you do not nurture your child to pass through those phases correctly, they will fall into disparity. Then this is the time also when one is now planning for end of life and dealing with loss, right? What do I mean? A person would say, I want to join a funeral police simply because I know one day I will die. But some will not join the funeral police. They will leave it to those who will be surviving for them to bury them. But that conscious mind that will tell you, I have to join a funeral police or I want to have life insurance, it's actually coming into the mind that, okay, I need to do this. This thing is imminent and it's going to happen to me. Even if you want, even if you don't, it's going to happen. So this is the time now when the support is being provided for end of life and also dealing with loss. Then in counseling, let's say you are faced with someone who is in this particular stage. Issues to do with life satisfaction, they should be addressed. Legacy and coping with aging. This is the time now when you want to tell them, no. It's no longer time for you to do, heavy manual work. Now you need to rest, you need to relax. But you can only relax when you've been successful in the previous stages, right? And you also need to support the clients in finding meaning and peace in their later years. So if you realize that this person did not pass through properly in the previous stages, it's very important that these people, they are supported and they are taken back to say, no, these things, they are already in the past. You cannot go back to your infant stage. But I've said all this for those who have got children to be very careful and also listen to yourself to say, am I passing through my stage correctly, or I'm becoming a person who is being who is despairing during this stage. You are despairing, you don't have the integrity. You are just saying, no, I can't, I can't. But if you have done it, I've seen our grannies way back, they will be at easy when they're talking about their death to say, no, I'm going to die, I will leave you this, I will leave you this, I will leave you that. You don't need to do this and do that because you have to be properly acquainted with information. So by understanding these stages and their associated conflicts, individuals and organizations can actually create a supportive environment that promote healthy psychosocial development. So ladies and gentlemen, this is the theory from Erik Erikson, and it's up to you now to take the stages and apply them properly. Check yourself. If you are listening to me, check your stage. Where are you? Check the previous stage. Did you achieve it? If you've got a child that you're taking care of, either your child or any other child that is in your surrounding, are you taking care of that child properly? Are they actually succeeding in that particular stage for them to be successful in the next stage? It begins with you, and it begins with me, and it begins with all of us. And it can only happen if all of us, we come together and we work together to say, for us to end issues to do with the drug addicts, we have to make sure that these children, they pass through all the stages successfully, they are well supported. This, ladies and gentlemen, does not require money. It only requires your mental aspect. Are you able to nurture them, not to compensate later in life? So it is very important, ladies and gentlemen, to make sure that we develop a sense of nurturing the person who is next to you. And also, if we have friends, let's check with our friends. Some of them, you ignore them, but they are actually compensating from the stages that they did not succeed in. So it is important to understand the Erik Erikson theory. So ladies and gentlemen, I will tell you that it's important to go back to the theory, try to Google it, read about it, understand it, put it into practice. It can be applied in so many ways, but the way that I've given it to you is the way that I've understood it myself, and I thought it is very important and crucial for us to discuss about it and be able to apply it in real life. Right. So, general applications, as I'm concluding this this presentation. In education, if you integrate Erik Erikson stages into curriculum development to ensure that age-appropriate learning experiences are put in place. Then in healthcare, Erik Erikson framework, it is to understand patient behaviors and provide stage-appropriate care and support. Right, healthcare workers, they may see someone who is behaving like a toddler, but they are adults. You have to understand them that they could have missed that phase. Now they are hospitalized. This is the way they are behaving. You have to take them back, understand them. That, oh, there could be a problem, right? Then in organizations, most of us who may be listening to this video, we belong to organizations. It doesn't mean that you have to be formally employed for you to belong to an organization. The church that you go to, the friends, the peers, whoever that is supporting you, you have to apply the principles to foster a supportive work environment that addresses the developmental needs of the employees at different life stages. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening, and I would also be looking forward to your comments, and do not forget to subscribe, like my video, subscribe to it, and you get a notification bell that will tell you of the next video that I would have uploaded. Thank you so much for listening, and thank you so much for subscribing to the content that I'm giving you. See you in the next video.